You think you know everything about the world's most famous house? The one on currency, postcards, and the evening news? What if I told you its history is built on lies, ghosts, and secrets hidden for 2 centuries? Right now, 5 shocking White House facts that will shatter everything you thought you knew. A secret hidden under white paint, blood and sweat embedded in its walls, ghosts that still walk the halls of power, a secret city buried underground, and a garden that shocked the nation. Turn up the volume. The first fact will change everything. Did you ever wonder why it's called the White House? Everyone thinks it's a symbol of purity, innocence, and light. But the real reason is a shame they tried to hide. In August 1814, British troops marched into Washington. It was revenge. The Americans had earlier burned a city in Canada. The British set fire to the Capitol, the Library of Congress, and then turned to the president's residence. The order to burn the house came directly from Admiral George Cockburn. Soldiers lit bonfires right in the halls, used furniture for firewood, and drank President Madison's wine stocks on the spot. The fire raged all night. Only blackened walls remained. To hide the stains of national humiliation, the walls were covered in lime and white paint for years. It wasn't until 1901 that Theodore Roosevelt officially made the White House the building's name, as if that was the plan all along. But now you know, the whiteness is just a mask for shame. Second shock, the symbol of freedom was built by those who were denied it. From 1792 to 1800, the White House was constructed by enslaved people. The government rented them from owners in Maryland and Virginia. They dug the foundations, hauled sandstone, and laid bricks, all by hand. But here's what's even more shocking. The slaves were paid, but their owners were. They received $5 a month, a pittance even for those times. The workers themselves didn't see a cent. Architect James Hoban personally supervised the construction, and among his best stonemasons were enslaved men like Tom, Peter, and Ben. The irony of fate, 200 years later, Barack Obama, a descendant of Africans, became the master of a house built by his ancestors in chains. He said he felt their spirit in those walls. This isn't a metaphor, it's a legacy America tries hard not to remember. Third fact, the White House is one of the most haunted places in the US, and the main ghost is Abraham Lincoln. Dozens of people have seen him. Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands, staying in the Lincoln bedroom, described a knock at the door, and behind it stood a shadow in a top hat. She fainted on the spot. Winston Churchill, taking a bath in the same room, walked out with his cigar and stated, "I don't sleep in his room." He came and sat by the fireplace. But Lincoln isn't alone. The spirit of Abigail Adams does laundry in the East Room. People smell soap and damp cloth. And there's the ghost of a young servant boy who cries in the basements. Staff hear footsteps, creaking doors. It seems the past never left these walls. Fourth fact, beneath the White House lies an entire underground metropolis. There's a bunker 6 stories deep, capable of surviving a nuclear strike. But that's not all. Tunnels lead to the Capitol, the Treasury Department, and even to a remote shelter called Mount Weather in Virginia. There's a separate tunnel for the president's evacuation with a maglev train. On September 11th, Dick Cheney and Condoleezza Rice were rushed to the PEOC, Presidential Emergency Operations Center, the very one you see in the movies. It has its own air, water, generators, and an archive of documents for doomsday. This isn't a residence, it's a fortress ready for war. And finally, the most absurd fact. On the roof of the White House, there is a vegetable garden. Yes, First Lady Michelle Obama planted garden beds with veggies and beehives up there. But she wasn't the first. Back in 1943, Eleanor Roosevelt started a victory garden to support the nation during the war. It grew carrots, cabbage, and lettuce. And honey from the roof is still served at state dinners. Just imagine, somewhere up there, above the Oval Office, bees are buzzing and zucchini is ripening. It's the strangest, yet most human secret of the White House.